yeah, that is a good looking mini. What? It's no longer available. I guess that means I'm gonna make my own. I'm Gabriel, and this is Miniature Medium. If you enjoyed this content, please smash that like button. It really does help out the channel by letting YouTube know something about the algorithm. So it seems that I sat too long on whether or not to pick up some of these bounty hunters for Necromunda. I'm not really that heartbroken about it though. I mean, I already made Gore Halfhorn, so why not just make the rest of them? The basis for this Kitbash is actually going to be coming straight from Age of Sigmar. Some of you may already know what it is I'm going to be using. For those of you who don't, I'm going to be using this Kharadron Overlords box. It is a lot of steampunky dwarves. They convert nicely into a more futuristic sci-fi setting. Firstly, I'm going to take a look through this box and see in particular what it is that I'm working with. I'm actually really liking the flyers here. I don't plan on using it as a flyer, but the legs are posed in such a way that it won't just be standing there. So I'm going to go ahead and take all of these bits to make the torso, the legs, and I'm going to get all of that assembled. And of course, with this being a fairly detailed model, I want to make sure and take my time going through and removing a lot of the little bits of gates that are left on and trimming back the mold lines that are present. Luckily, there weren't too many of those in the torso area. The legs were a different matter altogether. Once I'm confident that I've gotten the gates taken care of and I'm ready to assemble it, I'm going to use plastic glue or plastic cement. And then I'm going to use a small clamp to hold the two pieces together. By using a clamp like this, I can set the piece aside and then let the glue do its thing while working on the next piece. Now, as far as the legs go, I like they're actually separated in two different legs, instead of orcs and old Space Marines, where it's a ball hip and then two legs. I can actually use different legs from different models in this instance to get a different pose. Looking at the different weapon options that come inside of this kit, there is one in particular that I am really enjoying, and to me it looks like a shotgun or a blunderbuss. And that is definitely what I'm going to be using for the main weapon of choice. Granted, I am restricted by the loadout of the particular bounty hunter that I'm making, but that still will make for a good looking shotgun. Speaking of the loadout, it has a maul, but there's no melee weapon that fits that description inside the Overlords kit. So I'm going to jump on over to the Mech Boy Workshop kit, where I know there's a giant wrench in there that I think is going to work well as a maul. I've got some spare arms in my bit box that I think will actually work out really well. One in particular I remember has a bandolier. Yep, it's an orc arm, and it's holding a bandolier. So I'm going to snip those off, and I'm going to use the arm for the dwarf that is holding on to a secondary handle for a gun that requires both hands. And I'm going to glue the bandolier on like he's holding onto the top of it, and it's just hanging there. As far as the head choices go, this is pretty straightforward. That's coming out of the same kit as well, and it doesn't really matter which head I go with, really. If you wanted to switch things up though, you could go to the Barbarian Dwarf Fraction. Wow, I didn't know Age of Sigmar had fractions. Dwarf Barbarian Faction, and use those heads instead. That would definitely give you a different look. This has made me happy. I've now got a unique model, albeit something that you guys could easily replicate. But mine, I made it, I determined what went into it, and I can use it as an ammo jack, I could use it as Grendel Grendelson, or any other kind of bounty hunter or venerator that I want to make. Now, let me know in the comments below. Doesn't have to be this model in particular, it could be any model. Would you rather make it yourself, or would you rather just buy it? That'll be all for today, and as always, have fun, be creative, and happy hobbying.